I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for streaming with us. Incredibly graphic testimony today in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. And we have to warn you, some of what you hear.
Sean Diddy Combs has officially been sentenced to 160 years in prison. Yes, you read that right, 160 years. As the judge read the sentence, the entire courtroom went silent. No one said a word. Diddy just sat there. He didn't break down, didn't ask for mercy, didn't even react. But let's be clear, this wasn't some symbolic punishment or a slap on the wrist. This was real. It was the justice system delivering a powerful blow, one that no one expected to come down this hard. This wasn't just a sentence, it was the end of a long and messy chapter. For years, there have been quiet rumors, sealed lawsuits, and confidential agreements. People whispered, stories floated, and survivors were ignored. But now everything came crashing down. The truth finally came to light, and Diddy had to face the consequences. The stories from the people involved were chilling. One person even said what they experienced with him nearly ruined their entire life. His lawyers tried everything they could to lighten the blow. They argued for shorter time, maybe 5 to 10 years. Behind closed doors, they reportedly talked about plea bargains. There were even whispers that Diddy might give up names of others involved, well-known people, powerful figures who had stayed hidden until now. But none of it worked. Judge Subramanian wasn't interested in stories or spin. The survivors in the courtroom weren't interested in excuses. The public wasn't buying it either. Though the jury cleared him of some of the biggest charges like racketeering and trafficking, it didn't matter in the end. Just two-man act violations, serious federal crimes involving transportation for illegal purposes, were all it took to turn his world upside down. Each charge came with a 10-year sentence, but the judge didn't stop there. With extra time added on for things like obstruction, threatening witnesses, and past settlements, that 20 years turned into 160 very quickly. In the courtroom, his lawyers tried to paint him as a flawed.
Things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed my life.
When the judge dropped that gavel, it didn't just mark the end of Diddy's freedom. It sent a message loud and clear. The power, fame, and money that once protected him couldn't save him this time. The king has officially fallen. Let's talk about the shocking twist that has everyone in the music world talking. Cassie Ventura, once known as Diddy's longtime girlfriend and the glamorous face of his empire, might now be playing a major role in tearing it all down. Rumors are flying that she may have quietly worked out a deal with the government. Some people close to the U.S. Attorney's Office are claiming that Cassie's testimony wasn't just her telling her truth. It came with some serious benefits, like protection and a clear game plan. Last year, Cassie filed a lawsuit against Diddy, and it was settled extremely fast, within just one day. At the time, many thought that was the end of it. But now, people are wondering if that legal move was only the beginning of something bigger. When she showed up in court, calm and confident, even while being 9 months pregnant, something changed. Her words gave a powerful look into the disturbing world behind Diddy's closed doors. She spoke about being forced into those infamous freak-off parties, showing how much control he had over her and others. Her testimony lasted 4 days and was clear, emotional, and detailed. It made a huge impact. Prosecutors paid close attention. The defense looked uncomfortable. One legal expert even said Cassie's testimony sealed Diddy's fate long before the final verdict. The defense tried to make her look guilty too, using old messages to paint her as part of it. But the jury didn't see her that way. They saw a woman who went through hell, survived, and came back with purpose. And if what people are saying is true, she
referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, Astroglide.
Cassie knew everything, who was there, what went down, and how it was all covered up. She could have written a book about it, but instead, she gave her truth in court. A former executive at Bad Boy Records said her words opened the door to everything. And it turns out she may not have been the only one to speak up. There are now whispers that several people in Diddy's close circle, drivers, assistants, planners, might have already flipped and started working with authorities long before the trial began. Some say those same people who booked flights, planned parties, and handled shady deliveries may have been secretly helping to bring him down all along. One of the jurors, who spoke anonymously after the trial, said something that really stuck with people. He said Diddy was trying to save himself in that courtroom, but he was doing it all alone. And alone isn't a word anyone used to associate with Sean Diddy Combs. In the 90s, the 2000s, and even just a few years ago, Diddy was surrounded by crowds, fame, and power. He had influence, fans, money, and people always around him. But now, he's sitting in a prison cell with no one by his side. When the judge finally read out the sentence, the room was silent. Nobody dared to move. Diddy didn't cry. He didn't beg. He didn't even blink. The weight of everything finally caught up to him. But what hit even harder than the sentence itself was what the judge said. With a calm but firm voice, Judge Arun Subramanian looked him straight in the eye and said he was a danger to society. He didn't say it casually. He meant it. And that moment was when everything shifted. Court reporters said the judge spoke in a way that showed how serious he was. He talked about how Diddy used his money and status to hurt others. It wasn't just about one or two bad decisions. This was years of pain, hidden stories, sealed lawsuits, and voices that were finally being heard. The case might have been about moving people across state lines for illegal purpo.
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and, smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks. It's every day, every hour.
Many of the victims were scared to speak up. They were afraid of what Diddy might do to their careers or even their personal lives. So they stayed quiet for years, carrying the weight of what happened to them. But the trial brought all of it to light. This wasn't just about locking someone up. It was about sending a message. The system made it clear, just because you're rich, famous, or powerful doesn't mean you can get away with hurting others. Legal experts said the length of the sentence wasn't just to punish him, it was to set an example. To warn others in the entertainment industry who might be hiding dark secrets behind closed doors. It's becoming clearer now that the days of paying people off to stay quiet may finally be ending. Stars used to use their power to keep things buried. But now, that power is fading, and there's one detail from the case that people can't stop talking about: baby oil. It sounds strange, but this everyday item played a disturbing role in the case. Multiple witnesses mentioned how dozens of bottles were always around, lined up in hotel rooms, studios, and luxury homes. But they weren't there for skincare. According to one former assistant, they were part of a twisted ritual. The oil was used in uncomfortable, controlling situations that made people feel like props instead of human beings. One witness recalled being cornered by Diddy and how he touched her without permission. If you need anything, he told her, let me know, in a way that felt more threatening than kind. Prosecutors explained that the baby oil was a part of Diddy.
He cornered me. And then he asked me, with his arm up, he asked me, how you doing? I'm kind of like, wow, what the heck? Very uncomfortable. And then he rubbed his hand down my breast. He said, if you need anything at all, you let me know.
His way of showing control over people. It became a symbol of how he turned private moments into planned performances. Some people described entire rooms where everything was set up to create scenes for his entertainment.
How many people came through his orbit? How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it for so long?
Dim lighting, soundproof walls, and people who were pressured into doing what he wanted. And the oil was always present. Sometimes poured, sometimes expected, sometimes forced. In every version of TH,